So,
yeah. Okay, go ahead.
do you like Trump?
Yeah. So anyway, like personally, I mean, like Trump isn't necessarily like my cup of tea. I mean, he does have a how would I say, like his personality is unique, but he can be abrasive. So like I'm a pragmatist when it comes to like politics. I look at it more from an angle of like what the eventual outcome is going to be.
Yes.
The political outcome. So it's like I may not be that favorable of Trump, but I like to look at the whole picture objectively. So like the way I basically look at it is, as I mentioned before, Trump was basically a shoo-in for the Republicans because most of the Republican establishment, put their support behind Trump, for years back. However, I mean, if you look at the situation with the Democrats, it's really ridiculous because, so like the Democrats, they could accuse Trump of being a shoo-in, but who else could be more of a quintessential shoo-in than Kamala Harris? I mean, that's just ridiculous. There wasn't even a primary process that even unfolded in regard to her. It's just like Biden, he was incompetent. Everybody could see that. So the Democrat Party, they just decided to cast their lots in.
Biden seems so incompetent that it almost seems like a 18 or 19-year-old university freshman could probably do a better job as a president than him.
Indeed.
Like he's so bad that I think that even a fucking teenager can do a better job at being a president than him.
No question. I mean, basically these last 4 years, as far as the commander-in-chief, his seat, you could almost say, has been a vacancy. I mean, like the presidency has been an autopilot. So, I mean, contrast that with Trump, where he's like, even in when was it? 2020 or the 2016 elections when he faced off against Hillary Clinton. There would be this thing, on the Trump campaign about, low energy candidates. Like all his opponents, in the Republican primary, he would just put that out there like low energy. But I mean, what more of a contrast as far as like energy and vitality is concerned than what we've seen recently, like in these last years. I mean, it's like night and day. So basically the Democrats, they're throwing it all in for Kamala. They're casting their bets on her. But I mean, come on. She was vice president. Did she prove anything? Did she do anything?
It almost seems like the Democratic Party doesn't really care about the American people. They just care about themselves staying in power and their friends that help them get elected. It seems like the Democratic Party...
And their assets, their pocketbooks.
Yes. They're a selfish people, and some people say that the Republicans are selfish, some might say. They might only care about their billionaire friends. That's what I heard. A lot of Democratic Latinos, they tell me, oh, the Republicans only care about their rich friends. And I'm thinking,
come on.
Well, I mean, I don't think so. I mean,
how wealthy did Nancy Pelosi get during her tenure as a senator?
She was doing a very good job at stock picking, and I personally, I have no problems with somebody making money in the stock market as long as, people are not being cheated. But yeah,
she had insider contact.
That's what it seems. Everybody's saying that. I don't know for sure because I don't know her personally. I don't know what she knows, but she's done a very good job at stock picking. She I think performed better percentage-wise year after year in her portfolio than Warren Buffett did. Now, granted, if Warren Buffett makes 1% of his money, it's billions of dollars. If Nancy Pelosi makes 1%, it's nothing, but she wasn't making 1% on her, like, $100 million or whatnot, or whatever she had. She was making like 20, 30, 40, 50, 60% annually, or some crazy high number, which is extremely high. She is,
unusual and conspicuous.
And I think she was having, for the most part, really good returns for many years that were just off the charts, higher than the average market return on, like, let's say, an S&P 500 or broad market index fund. So a lot of people here, they own trucks. They support Trump. This is a Republican city for the most part. or at least the people that are elected as officials for the city and county are Republican. I mean, not obviously everyone. There's still a lot of Democrats here. A hypothesis of mine is that perhaps, I mean, it's a Republican town. They say town, but in reality, what I think happens is that the Democrats in this city, or people that are not Republicans, don't vote as much as Republicans. I don't have anything to prove it, but I think that, like, let's say 20-30% of Republicans,
I think that's historically been proven.
They're just more likely to vote, perhaps, here. Because I've spoken to people that are not for Trump, and I ask them, are you going to vote? And they're like, no. So the reason why Republicans came into power in Kern County, because perhaps there's a culture of not voting as much as other counties. I have nothing to prove it. I'm just speculating here. So what do you think about, what do you call it, the state of affairs with Ukraine and Russia? Do you think Russia should, or do you think Ukraine should surrender? Because it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to win against Russia. It seems like the Democrats have been saying, Ukraine's winning.
Objective political analysts, any political analyst who's serious,
yes,
can see that clearly, you know, from what's been taking place on the battlefield.
Like, sure, what they did was criminal, Russia invading another country and killing a bunch of people, but at the same time, where was I going with this? You should not. I think Zelensky was given the option of surrendering. If Zelensky would have manned up and been courageous and just fucking surrendered, he would have saved the lives of so many countless Ukrainians and other people that are not from Ukraine that went to. I know this guy. He's from Germany and he went to fight in Ukraine, and I think he's dead now. So I think that that Zelensky should have just surrendered, because you're not going to win against Russia, and it's not like, you know, Russia wants to attack the West, like it wants to.
No, definitely.
Like if
Russia,
if they really wanted war with the United States, they would have done it a long time ago. Yeah. So basically, the media has been saying Ukraine has been winning, but that doesn't make any sense. How are you winning when you are getting more of your lands taken away from you and you're being killed at an extremely high rate? That's not how you win a war. I mean, if you're losing more territory, you're losing way more men. By definition, you're not winning. And the media, the Democrats, have been trying to lie. Why do you think they're trying to lie? That Ukraine is winning.
It's just like anything. If it comes down to semantics, you know, between both parties, you know, the way I look at it, there's corruption everywhere. I mean, let's be adults here. You know, we're living in the real world. I mean, there's corruption on the Republican side and there's corruption on the Democrat side.
Yes.
But the way I see it, undoubtedly, you know, between both parties, I would say the Democrats are much more corrupt. So now, the reason why the media is so insistent on, you know, spinning this positive narrative about Ukraine and their supposed gains, you know, on the battlefront and the theater of war, is it all has to do with corrupt money. I mean, it's the military-industrial complex is deeply invested in the Democrat Party and the armaments industry. So when it comes down to it, I mean, basically politicians are making a killing. And not only here and in Western Europe, obviously, or the NATO-aligned nations, but Zelensky as well. And it's hardly... When do you ever hear it mentioned in the mainstream media, aside from certain talking points, say, from J.D. Vance or other Trump-aligned pundits, about the tremendous corruption that exists in Ukraine? I mean, it's not like all of a sudden Ukraine became a squeaky clean country, you know, once it aligned itself with the United States and NATO.